Welcome to the Killing Podcast. This is episode 1, the pilot. I'm your host, Martha Southgate, and with me is...
Rob Southgate.
I think we should just jump right in.
I think so too. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, did I love this show.
So I do want to say up front a couple things that
go ahead.
We should here. This is our first time watching the show.
Yeah.
And just to give the listener perspective, because people listening to it as it first airs are going to understand this, but other people may not. The third season has just ended.
Right.
So we're basically going back and watching it from the beginning.
Yep.
And taking it all in. So there's going to be a lot that people that have been watching it are going to know and want to call us on.
And we're going to look like total idiots for anyone who loves the show and has watched it.
That's okay, because for the rest of us, this is their first exposure to it. And how fun is it to go along this journey? Mm-hmm. And for people that have loved it, to go on it again. Yeah,
to kind of go on it with newbies and think, oh, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh, they don't know anything. Oh, wait till they see this next part. So we have not read spoilers.
No, we know it's been hard,
nothing.
Too. Well, I'll tell you, one reason it's been hard, this whole premise happened a couple of months ago, that we were going to do a Killing podcast.
Yes.
Basically, we met Nicholas Lay, who is in the third season of The Killing.
Who I just prefer to call Krychek.
Yes. And you have a little glow about when you talk about. We got to meet him and we talked to him and he told us about The Killing and you said, well, we should do a podcast. He goes, yeah, you should totally do a podcast. Mm-hmm. So then I tweeted out that, hey, we should do a podcast about this. And I get inundated with tweets.
The one thing people are excited
from
that we're
Killing
doing.
Fans.
Right?
Right.
We do lots of shows, but people like this.
But people love the show that we don't do.
Right.
So we were getting all these tweets about it. I mean, my phone was blowing up with all these tweets. Yeah. And they're just, these are rabid fans. These are people that really, truly love it.
Yeah, that's not a very nice
Rabid's not?
I don't think rabid.
I like rabid. I'm not saying foaming at the mouth, having those. You ever see a dog that's rabid? It has that brown thing on their back that looks like dog poo stuck to their back or something.
No, I think you made that up. I've seen
now that as I'm saying it.
Yeah, you sound really crazy right now.
I'm kind of thinking that it might be I may have seen a dog. Well, no, I saw pictures, but I may have seen a dog that actually just had dog poo on it that was rabid.
I'm okay. Wow. Can we just call them passionate and not be thinking about them in terms of animals with feces on their back?
Yes. Okay. So are the passionate fans of The Killing.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is Martha and I, especially Martha, huge fans of the X-Files.
Now, I would be considered one of those
creeps. An X-File.
Yeah, kind of a crazy fan. Very overly invested.
A Mulder femme, if you will.
There you go. And I'm going to have a hard time with this Holder guy because I just want to keep going, Holder, it's me.
Right. And we found that there was a big crossover with the X-Files. So you X-Files fans that are Killing fans, we are so happy to be with you because I can tell already that there is that crossover. That thing is here. So I just wanted to kind of say that up front. Hey, this was something that was destined to happen, and we are so happy to be doing this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're sitting here watching the episode for the first time. I swear to you, I was hooked on just that first image.
Oh, me too.
The cinematography is beautiful. The lighting. I'm sitting there watching it going, I'm in. I love this show.
You know what? It's funny because
I don't even have to watch it. I already know.
The one night you went to bed and I turned it on just to see.
Wait, is this going to be?
Yeah. This is appropriate.
Is this appropriate? Is that going to embarrass me?
You went to bed. No, this is not going to embarrass you at all. That's coming.
So
then I started to watch it just to see what the very beginning was like, and I had the same reaction.
You cheated on me?
Oh, stop it!
With The Killing.
Stop it! I just had to see what the beginning was like. I watched literally the first minute. I saw her running. I saw the flashes of stuff. and I turned it off. I didn't even get to where Holder is. I turned it off and I was like, oh, oh, this is good. This is going to be one that we're going to love. So since then, we've been kind of developing this and trying to get to that point. But I'm with you, man. That first man,
yeah,
hello, man. That first scene,
oh my god,
completely hooked me in.
Oh, I'm in. I'm all in. And then we got partway through, and we're taking all these notes, and we had to stop for a few minutes. And I was like, no, we had next scene, one more scene. Just give me one more scene.
Right.
So I am so.
Yeah, in fact, this is going to be torture because normally when you marathon out a show like this, you go one after the other. We would have watched 3 episodes tonight.
Yeah, but we can't because it takes. I have.
We can't because
8
we
or
got to
9
talk it
pages
out.
of notes.
Yeah, so
I have 8 pages of notes from this 45-minute show.
This is going to be difficult. I have a feeling we're going to be recording all the first, because it's 10 weeks to begin with, all 10 episodes over the course of maybe 10 days, maybe even less than that. Because there's no way.
Gosh, but it's so involved. There's so much work here.
But there's no way we're going to make it if we try to do one a week.
I know. Okay.
So I know how it goes.
Let's get in, because I got 8 pages here. Okay. And we don't want to keep these people for hours.
So we see, we know who she is now.
Running, jogging.
Yeah.
Well, but let's go through it the way we were initially seeing it.
Okay, so we didn't really know who she was. I knew only because I get so many tweets about Detective Sarah Linden. Okay. But really, you didn't know who she was. You see her jogging.
No, and I actually thought, is she going to end up being the victim?
Oh, really? Okay, so you had never even seen...
No, I know nothing. I mean, I didn't know any characters' names. I know nothing about the story. Did you know
it was called The Killing?
I knew it was called The Killing.
Did you know it was on AMC?
Yes, and therefore someone would die. That's all I knew. There was going to be a death involved.
How do you know it wasn't a show about, like, Don Rickles and he's killing them?
I would have still watched.
It's The Killing.
Because our fans really wanted us to watch.
Can you imagine if Don Rickles was on this?
Jogging?
Yes. Okay, I'm getting too sidetracked. This is going to take 4 hours to get through the first episode.
So she's jogging along.
Yes.
And you see and hear a woman hiding and running through the woods and then hiding again.
Right, and it's intercut with Sarah.
And so then I kept thinking, is this a flashback? Is this woman? And is this what's going to happen to her in a minute?
I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking it was a flash forward. I thought we're seeing her running, and then we're seeing it play out, the same location playing out or something, but in the future. I thought, okay, we're seeing something that we're going to see at the end of the first season.
Oh, I thought maybe it was the minute later.
I'm telling you why. Because we're conditioned from watching Breaking Bad.
Darn you, Breaking Bad.
I'm telling you, that's
Curse you, Breaking Bad.
It was because of Breaking Bad that I thought, they're doing this thing, this setup at the beginning, and we're not going to see anything about this person running through the woods until the end of the first season. Mm-hmm. I was wrong.
Very wrong.
Yes.
And I was also wrong, which is going it's foreshadowing
that we're all wrong.
That we're always going to be wrong.
Yes.
And that we're gonna stumble a lot through this, but it's fun and you just humor us. Okay, so we're in the woods
and we see her running, and we see somebody with a flashlight.
Yeah, someone
chasing after her. She looks panicked. Whatever's happening there,
it's not going well.
It's not going well. They're after her.
Mm-hmm. It.
I said they.
It's not a they. It's probably one person.
How did you know?
Because I saw one flashlight.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means something to me.
We have no idea if this is going to end up being one killer, if there's going to be 3 or 4 people there.
I don't want to think that this girl had
what if it's like
many
E.T. and it's all the ETs running, and his heart light is what we're seeing in the woods? You don't know.
You don't make any sense. Okay.
That makes sense to me.
The jogger stop. Okay, so now we've got the jogger, right?
The jogger,
she's back.
Yes.
She stops on a beach after noticing something washed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally thought it was
never
the body.
Explained. What is that thing? Is it an animal?
Yeah, it was an animal. I thought it looked like a dog or something, or it might be a seal or something. It is Seattle.
It had ears. And like a snout, looked like a tapir or something.
No. I think that was his arm because his head was turned.
Oh.
I thought that too, but then when we went back and kind of rewatched that scene,
it didn't help me.
To me, it looked like it was kind of a dog, and that was just a head. But we don't know what it was. It was something.
And it was important.
Well, it was important because it was supposed to be misdirection. You were supposed to see her seeing this body. Her whole life is, being a homicide detective, is seeing bodies. So you know that she was thinking, what am I seeing washed up on this shore? And then she goes out there and it's an animal. So she doesn't have to do a big investigation for that. It's an animal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Michael Vick was in town, and
oh no, you're
how mean.
So she's staring at this thing, and her phone rings, and she answers it, Detective Linden. And so now we've got her name. Now we know
she's Detective Linden.
Okay. So day one.
Yeah, it comes up on the sign, day one, which totally got me.
Well, and day one goes through 8 pages.
Right.
Because we never went to day 2.
Is each episode going to be a day?
Would that be cool?
Because it's better than 24.
It's way better than 24.
Yeah. They do 24 hours in 1 hour.
Well, that's what they would be doing. Day one.
No, 24 was two. Every hour was an hour.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They're doing a day. So they could call it, this could be called calendar.
There's only 10 episodes.
No, at this point there's 30 because they've had 3 seasons.
You're hurting my head. Okay. So day one, it's pouring rain. And you see... Okay, so we're just getting clues.
Right.
Because once again, we haven't seen this. So we're getting clues. I go, oh, Seattle. There's the Space Needle. Okay. So it's pouring rain, which might have tipped us off that it was the Pacific Northwest.
Sure.
Because of the rain. But then we see the Space Needle, so we know it's Seattle. Sarah, now we have her name, the detective, is at a crime scene to see a body. And this guy says to her, you're out of here when? Friday? And she says, nope, today. And I'm thinking, okay, what's this? Is she going on vacation?
Yeah, we don't know what she's doing.
Is she leaving her job? Is she moving?
She seems awfully young to be retiring from the position, but maybe she's getting promoted to, police chief in another department, or who knows?
But she's leaving.
But he tells her there's a body. It's up in the mill.
Yeah, and so she's walking down this dark, creepy structure thing. It looks like sheds, a long shed.
And it's dark, and the whole time you're thinking, okay, because we don't know what's going on with the show.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to jump out at her?
Well, I couldn't figure out why.
We're also thinking
if they were doing an investigation, where were the other detectives or officers or whatever?
If she was the only detective on the scene, they go in alone.
Oh, come on.
They do.
You just make this stuff up.
I have watched plenty of detective shows.
Okay, and those, just because it's... So it's on a show that makes it reality for how.
Are we going to get into that Columbo argument again?
So she's got nothing to say to that. Okay, she comes across a bloody plastic tarp.
Yeah, and I'm totally thinking.
Yeah, there's the body. Done.
This is the body.
Let's wrap it up. And
no, I'm not thinking they're wrapping it up. I'm thinking she's going to find part of the body here. And that spurs this investigation, and that ends her vacation or whatever.
Here's what I thought.
Enlighten me.
She's gonna she comes across this bloody plastic tarp, with a tarp with a bloody body inside.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, yeah. So now they're just gonna tell us who died, who this girl was, and we can work our way through the show to identify the killer. I didn't realize that they were going to string us along,
right,
and not identify the.
Well, they didn't string us along for very long.
No, but I mean, it was a bit torturous because I wanted to know.
A bit torturous.
I wanted to know. I wanted to fast forward.
You are selling this show.
I wanted to fast forward
on the DVDs,
and then come back
on the Blu-rays. It's going to say on the box, a bit torturous. Martha Southgate.
Well, it's not in a bad. I mean,
it's the good kind of bit torturous.
It's that suspenseful where right. I don't go in. I usually want to just get me to the end and then let me go back and watch it knowing the answer. That makes me feel better.
So in other words, it's like reading the last chapter of the book.
Thank you. And then I go back and read and go, okay, now I can read it and enjoy it because I'm not obsessing over when the body's going to appear.
Wow, you have a problem.
Well, welcome to 10 weeks of hell for you then, dude.
Oh, man.
Okay. So she's got this tarp thing. She pulls it, and the lights go on.
Right.
The detectives threw her going away party, that only another detective would appreciate.
Yeah, it's a blow-up doll.
It is a blow-up doll.
As our friend would call it, was Blois, the blow-up doll. And it has a sign on it.
Hats off to you.
David,
yes.
And it says, Bon Voyage, Sarah. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming jolly group of detectives start singing to her for She's a Jolly Good Fellow. And they all seem awfully happy. I have a feeling somebody may have been drinking on the job during that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so very interesting going away party.
Yeah. Much like the one you had at that baby store. They gave you the blow-up doll and wrapped it in bloody plastic first. So am I getting it mixed up with something? A little bit. Okay.
We're going to move on.
So now we cut to Sarah's apartment.
She enters it carrying the doll.
Right. And it's obvious she's moving because there's boxes everywhere. They're all taped up and whatever. And then that her... Well, we find out her fiancé...
She's looking for Rick. She's saying, Rick.
You know what? I'm glad you got his name because I wrote Greg all the way until the last scene when I figured out his name was Rick. So through these notes, I might refer to him as Greg. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay. That's code for Rick.
Yeah, if I say Greg, it's Rick.
So she's looking for Rick, and we don't know who... I was assuming he was her husband or something. You know, you don't really know who she is.
You don't know any of this.
He's a really aggressive kisser. Not a fan.
You didn't like that.
I am not a fan.
Well, and we had to rewind it, and you had to see him kiss again. And
like
you were
three times. I was like,
he's
okay.
way too aggressive.
He's a very aggressive kisser. So, yeah, I'm not sure about Rick yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But
she, in this, you find out that she makes a reference to their friend and says, well, maybe she could be one of my bridesmaids. So we know...
No, walk me down the aisle.
Walk me down the aisle. But
big difference.
I assumed bridesmaid.
And
Father of the bride.
And you assumed that it's a woman
Well,
walking her
because
down
they said
the aisle?
her. They said her.
Her, Reggie.
Yeah, they said Reggie and they said her.
Yeah, so she wants her to walk her down the aisle.
Right.
She doesn't apparently have parents or something,
Okay,
like a father.
That tells you how good I am at paying attention. I totally didn't catch that. I was thinking bridesmaid, but you're right. It's standing in for the father. So now we know she's married. She's getting married. She's marrying.
Well, but they discuss the 15-year-old son.
Right. Then they talk about the 15-year-old son, Jake.
Jack.
Jack.
Wow. All right.
And
we're gonna just.
They said that Reggie wants to take Jack on the boat for one last trip.
Well, and we find out he's angry about this move.
Well, he's a surly 15-year-old.
Right.
Of course, he's angry about it.
Well,
he's either listening to the Kieran angry.
Can I just tell you,
what
as a former surly teenager?
Yeah, you are much past surly teenager at this point.
As a former surly teenager,
yes,
I actually would have loved moving. The further away as possible.
It was a perfect storm of moving and Rick.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to go if the aggressive kisser was coming along.
And they're moving to Sonoma. We also found that out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little different climate than Seattle.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Seattle's good too, but
yeah, a
little more sun in Sonoma. Okay.
Yeah, it tends to rain a little bit in Seattle. I think we saw that on this show too.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a
marketing
ploy to keep people from moving there.
Sarah's hair. Did you notice? Like, have you ever seen? Well, you didn't know who the actress was, but if you see the actress off of the show, she always is like, she looks great.
When have you seen her off the show?
I've seen pictures of her, knowing when the show was canceled. Spoiler, canceled after the third season.
Are you stalking
There were pictures of her. No, she's going to be in some movie coming out, and it had pictures of her, and she looked really nice. And I'm watching this going, they got her they look like they dumped water on her. Make her look like a wet cat the whole time.
I'm sure she's going to love to hear that.
I'm not saying she's unattractive. I'm saying that...
Well, I'm about to talk about
Seattle is making people look unattractive.
Yeah. Except the senator.
I'm going to call it the grunge look. Coin a phrase.
There you go. Okay, now I'm so thrown off now
I don't know. What show are we doing?
Yeah, so they're moving to Sonoma. How would we start there? Movers are coming in an hour.
I hear that's wine country.
Someone wanted to take Jake. Okay, because I, of course, didn't pick up Reggie's name. Reggie wanted to take...
Wait a minute.
Jack! No, you got me calling him Jake, you big jerk. Okay.
So Reggie wanted to pick up Jack.
And take him out on a boat.
Yes.
Before they leave.
Right.
So he says, are you ready to move to Sonoma, quit your job, sell the condo, get married to an aggressive kisser?
Yeah.
And, and she says she does. But then when she's alone, she looks really sad.
Well, she goes and she looks at the picture of her and Jack on the fridge.
Yeah.
And not them sitting on a fridge. It's a picture that has been placed on the fridge of her and Jack. See how I corrected that? And Jack looks a lot younger there than 15.
Yeah, 6. He's got his front teeth missing, so probably 6 years old.
6, okay. And then she does look a little bit sad. Maybe she said that they're moving. Maybe I
like the word forlorn.
Maybe there's something with.
Well, she has to leave her job.
Well, and we also have some ideas about Jack, and it could be related to that too. We'll get to that.
She seems more.
Spoiler.
She seems a little bit more invested. I don't know what the word is. Concerned about Jack's feelings towards her. Like, she doesn't want him to be unhappy. She doesn't want him to dislike her. There's something there. Whereas a lot of parents of teenagers
just don't care.
Just go, you know what? Just get in the car.
Nobody
moving. Gives a crap. You know what I mean? Just get in the car and shut up. But for some reason...
Tell me more about your childhood.
She seems a little bit more...
Is she guilt-ridden?
Something. There's something there. Because she seems to be a little bit more concerned about how he feels about her and this move, and that she doesn't want to upset him or something, so not in a creepy way, but I just feel like there's a different dynamic than a typical mother-son teenage relationship,
mother-boy relationship.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's there's a different dynamic there,
there's
and I'm waiting. I think it's unfolding.
Up. Okay, something up.
So now she's in her office packing.
Right. We see more of this, like, that she's moving. She's done. She's moving on. And she's just kind of wrapping stuff up. And in walks
this guy.
This guy.
He says it's his office.
Right.
So I didn't know there was a guy coming. You apparently knew far more than I did.
I knew that there was...
I didn't know there was a guy involved.
Okay.
So he comes in... Seems a bit clumsy and rough around the edges.
Yeah, definitely. He's not a seasoned homicide detective. You can tell that.
No, he looks like a train wreck. Now
you're criticizing.
Yeah.
Does he look
but
like
in a good
pit?
way. No, not in a bad way, but he looks like...
Does he look a little rough,
a little
bad
like
boy?
Okay.
So he might have to be fixed by you?
Okay. I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so he's
Oh, Scully.
I can't concentrate. Okay. So
in walks Rough Holder. and
Fox Holder.
Okay. And he's got his box, and he puts a boom box up on the thing because he's moving it. She's like, it's okay, come on in. He goes, I come back later. No, come on in. I'm just wrapping things up. And he sticks his boombox on her files.
Because who does that?
First thing he does, puts up his little basketball hoop and starts shooting some hoops over there.
What year was this?
I don't know. Well, it was 3 years ago.
Because who has a mother-loving giant boombox?
No, you know what? That boombox, I think I know what that was. I don't think it was a boombox.
Why wouldn't you have an iPod or something?
Well, no.
Like a
you know what that was?
iPod dock.
I believe that was one of those power centers like you have for your drills, where it's like a boombox, but it also, you charge it, and then when he's out in the field or whatever, he can plug things into it.
What is he drilling out in a field?
What does it mean he's drilling? Well, hello.
Is he an oil Is he an oil tycoon?
I'm going to stick my straw in your oil field way over that way.
What the heck is he doing in a field with drills?
I didn't say he had a drill. I was using that as an example, but it's a power center, so he can charge things like if they have to charge a light, if they have to do whatever. You saw that they had lights when they were out there.
Why is that his job, though? There are people for that.
Well, because if he's investigating and he needs a light...
You just don't want me to make fun of his boombox.
No, that's not what it is. It was sweet.
Oh, well, I don't agree.
Yes.
Well,
so, and he put up his little basketball hoop, and
I didn't notice that.
And
I was too busy noticing other
Fox
things.
Holder started shooting some baskets over there as he was talking, because he's a rough
He
around
was
the
shooting
edges,
baskets?
somewhat
Where
bad
was
boy.
I? Okay.
Somewhat bad
All
boy.
I know is he was making small talk. He
Did
says
you
his
see
name
he
is
had basketball
Holder.
shorts on?
He said his name is Holder. Now, am I the only one frustrated by this rhyming? Could they not have named him something that didn't rhyme with Mulder?
No.
Actually, Holder doesn't rhyme with Mulder.
No, it doesn't.
Molder.
Molder?
That's how it would rhyme. You'd have
But
to
it's
call
Mulder.
him right. So it's Holder.
Holder. Yep.
So, okay. Well, it rhymish.
Okay.
It's a bit distracting to me.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, it is.
To Fox Mulder.
Fox wasn't a bad boy train wreck as much. He wasn't clumsy and
No, we saw him when he wasn't in his suit and tie.
Don't remind me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now I'm.
You're really
so
distracted.
he makes small talk about where she's moving, and so they're kind of chatting about that. You know, Sonoma. Yeah. There's sun there. Not really a fan of that. He's kind of making comments.
Right, and this is where he's
clearly
shooting
he is quite pasty and doesn't look like he gets out in the sun very much.
Oh yeah, you can fix that. So then he notices on her table the like a picture of a woman who's bloody and obviously like her throat was slit, and then there's a little bit of like there's a drawing, like a crayon drawing next to it, and he's like, oh, what did Crackhead thought she was Picasso or whatever?
Yeah,
she goes, no,
so
it was a 6-year-old that drew it.
She said a crackhead's son, 6-year-old son did.
Right.
And he said, did he get ice too? And she says no, and
she looks not happy with this.
No, she's not liking this conversation. And he says, so what happened to the kid? And she does not answer.
Right.
You know what I think happened to the kid? I think she adopted that kid.
You know what? I don't think you're wrong.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm not going to say I agree with you because I don't know yet. I
don't think that you're wrong, but you're not right.
I haven't formed enough of an opinion to say I think that's what's going on. But I totally get your logic on it. So I'm saying, yeah, that really could be it.
So we've got here this kid who was 6 years old,
who had
has a drawing,
crack mom,
and now all of a sudden, and this woman who is
single, what he
has
drew?
has her 15-year-old son and the little 6-year-old picture on the fridge.
Right?
Why was it magically 6 years old?
The picture he drew was a beach. Also, did you notice that?
I am thinking that she adopted this kid, but I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Very well could be.
But
I'm reserving judgment. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, you reserve that judgment.
But I think you have something there. You're at least looking in the right places, I think.
Her boss sends her to the dock on a case right before she leaves for California.
Right. And this is not going to be a blow-up doll again.
No, and he tells her to take Holden with him. Holder.
Yeah, and she's
now
like,
I just want to call him Holden.
And she's like, I'm
not
done.
that I want to hold him or anything.
She's like, this is my last day. He goes, you're still on the city's dime. Get out there. You can leave at 6 on the dot.
Well, she had to fly out at 9, yeah.
Right, but he tells her you can leave at 6.
Okay, I didn't
6 on the dot. I don't know if he said on the dot.
I don't think he did.
I'm saying
he's not the on the dot kind of guy. I don't get that from the lieutenant. But I know now that he's the lieutenant.
He says, take hold of her, get some barbecue.
Take hold of her.
Take hold of her. Get some barbecue. Maybe go see the Lone Gunman.
Okay, you can't keep making X-Files references.
I'm not.
This is its own show.
Yeah, I think you're just hearing that. So, Linden and Holder are driving, and it's raining, and, it's
Can we
Seattle.
just call him L and H so I don't have to keep saying it? No.
It's raining on it.
It's raining men.
And I like this scene. He's talking about his history a little bit. We're getting a little bit about the character.
Well, actually, not his history, just past work.
Right. We get that. But he says that he graduated the academy, he went into Vice, and she's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, you're that guy.
And that makes sense, too, because a little rough around the edges, a little bit of a, working player type
and he
thing.
said he was in narcotics mostly, which explains his look, because he does look like a recovered, like a junkie.
Right.
A little bit.
And I love this scene, though, when they pull up to the corner, and there's, obviously a dealer sitting on the corner, and he holds up his fingers to the kid like, hey, I'll take whatever.
I'll take 2.
Yeah, whatever that is.
I don't know what that is.
I'll take 2!
I've never
and the kid just gives him the finger, and he just gives it back, because it's like, yeah, you're no longer
playing in this world.
We know that you're a cop.
Now, we watched The Shield.
Yeah, we did.
And we never saw that anybody do that out the window. So we
didn't see them do that type of we
didn't get to learn that lingity.
No.
Because if we
watch The Wire, we'll see that.
All we know from that is from The Shield. Anything we know about drugs is from Breaking Bad and The Shield.
And Murder, She Wrote. But
Murder, She Wrote. No, that makes me want to take drugs, but I've never actually.
That's right.
No.
Father Dowling Mysteries, do you think we learned it from that?
I don't even know what that is.
Yes, you do. Tom Bosley.
Yeah, he'd make me want to take drugs, too.
Yep.
All right. I don't know where we were.
Oh,
so they're in the car.
Awesome.
She says, so now you're moving to homicide.
Right.
And he says, well, at least you've got a bad guy.
Yeah. Oh,
I thought that was a really good line.
This whole sequence was good. At least you've got a bad guy. She goes, yeah, who's that? And he goes, is that why you're running away? Because you don't know who anymore?
Yeah.
That was really good.
No answer.
Yeah.
No answer at all. She's kind of the queen of no answer when it comes to Holder.
Yeah. Well,
I gotta get used to this name.
It is a really interesting dynamic here, and especially after having just watched The Shield, seeing those guys work, and like when the one guy went to the narcotics division and how he played, you see that, and then you see this guy, and you're like, oh, I get a backstory. It's fleshed out. And I can see why they're having this weird interaction. Mm-hmm. And he's moved to homicide because he's into that and everything, but he plays it a different way.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
So they arrive at a field.
Yeah, and I like this shot, too, because it's way out from the city. You can see the city in the background, but you can see that they're pretty far out. Mm-hmm. And the cops are walking around this field, and obviously, it's not too hard to guess that they're looking for something in this field. This is where whatever has happened is happening.
And they bring us a bloody sweater in a bag up, and they said school kids found it. Holder thinks it's some drug addicts, but...
Well, yeah, because he goes right to that, and she's like, look...
She says, no, it was recently dry cleaned.
Tweakers don't dry clean their clothes.
No. And so she's like, yeah, it was recently dry cleaned. That's not going to happen. And then they find Stanley Larsen's debit card.
Yeah. So right there, I don't know what you were thinking, but
I was thinking Stanley Larsen was in some trouble.
Yeah, which would be so freaking obvious. First thing, there's his credit card. It must have been him. Mm-hmm. Okay, show's over, and I know that's not the case. So then I started thinking, okay, who is this Stanley Larsen?
Who are you indeed, Stanley Larsen?
And what is that from?
I don't know. I just made it up. Because you just were like, who are you, Stanley Larsen?
That made no sense.
Who are you? Who indeed?
So, for the listener that doesn't know, Martha's a big drinker.
I am not. I'm actually allergic to alcohol, which makes life really boring.
I'm allergic to alcohol?
I know. I'm the ultimate geek. I can't even drink.
Yes. You are. That was total agreement. Drinking is what makes you non-geek?
Yeah.
Lots of geeks drink.
No.
And lots of non-geeks
No, I think that is a very clear line.
I think that the name should
I might have made that up, but I think
you did. So. You are never getting the bad boy if you are allergic to alcohol. I'll tell you that right now. Well, you kind of did get the bad boy, though. I'm the bad boy. Yep. Yeah, I am. You know it.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Bad boy. So, back to the story. Stop distracting me with all this talk.
Yeah, she said to give the case over to sex crimes.
Right.
But Holder wants it.
Well, of course he does. It's his first day in homicide. He's like, why are we giving this over? We were here first.
No body, no case.
Well, yeah, and she wants to get out of there. She's not smelling, hey, there's a big thing to deal with here. She's like, look, there's no body. We'll just leave it to them. We'll get out of here. We're done. Mm-hmm. He wants to investigate.
Okay.
And he says, you're my ride. And he says he won't let her miss his flight.
Well, and
he won't let her miss her flight.
I thought this was an interesting scene because he is very tall and she's very short.
Okay.
And he gets in her business, right up in her personal space, and he does that thing that you do because you are very tall.
Voodoo that I do?
Yeah, the voodoo that you do so well. We're a foot height difference.
Right.
A little less than a foot.
I'm average height, and you're freakishly short.
Yeah, right. But you'll do that sometimes. I see you do it to other people as well, where you get up in people's business and you angle over them to intimidate them.
Yeah. Bad boy. Ding!
I didn't say it worked.
Right here.
But you try. But he was doing that, not in an intimidating way, but just there was something very...
I think that's his technique as a cop.
In her business.
Because he did it to Mitch Larsen.
Who's Mitch Larsen?
That's the name of Stan Larsen's wife.
Mitch?
Mitch. It is.
Who names a girl Mitch?
I don't know.
I think you got that wrong. Midge?
Mitch. It's Mitch. Her parents were Chris and Pat Larsen. No, that doesn't make sense.
What the hell did that mean?
I swear her name is Mitch.
Google it. Google it.
Okay, are we going to have to take a pause in our show here?
You cannot call this woman Mitch if you are not 100%. You've already called one guy Jake and another guy Greg, okay?
I'm telling you it's Mitch. Okay, I'm going to look it up.
There is no woman named Mitch.
We are going to
What could it be short for?
Mitchell?
Mish? Maybe Mish?
Mish! Hey, Mish.
Like Michelle? Mish?
Mish.
Or
Mish,
Midge?
No, it's Midge.
Madge?
I'm telling you it's Midge. Madge, you're soaking in it. Thank you.
Nobody's going to get that Palmolive.
You got it.
Well, I'm old, but our audience isn't old.
I'm sure it's only 18-year-olds listening to this podcast. People are going to understand. True that.
Well, I'm going to move along.
Stop seeking.
What is wrong with you?
I'm laughing. Stop speaking the hip talk. Because you're only going to talk to the 18-year-olds then.
Okay. Well, okay, so can we just discuss the fact that he was up in her personal space?
Yes.
And then he angled over her sort of in a way to get his way.
Yes.
In order to, so she did. She went with him. So now we have Stan Larsen, who we get to finally see after, it's only been like 2 minutes, so I guess I didn't have to wait that long.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is not very far into the show, and we've already talked for an hour. And
Stan Larsen and another guy, and the other guy was just in a movie we watched, Session 9.
He was.
He played a guy in that. So anyway, I recognized him. Even though he had a beard in this one, he was a little harder to recognize.
But you recognized him?
I did, because, that's how I roll. So Stan Larsen and this other guy come into a business. It looks like
Wait a minute, you missed something. When Holder was walking away from Linden, she noticed he had a cross tattoo
I did forget to mention that.
Neck.
And that's important because it shows up later.
Oh, it does?
Well, there's a little
But I think it's important in general. I think that's going to pop back up.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. So, back to it. So they're at this...
Is her name Midge?
No, I'm looking it up. They're at this Mitch Larsen.
M-I-T-C-H.
M-I-T-C-H. Short for Mitchell. Take it.
That is crazy talk.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. If you look on IMDb, you will not miss it. It says Mitch Larsen.
All right, we'll go with that.
No, we will, Mitch. Okay. So
they're at this Muslim grocery.
Yeah, it says Halil Grocery on the window.
You're just thinking if you say it fast, no one will tell that you're missing.
It's Halil. I'm saying it right.
Okay.
It says Halil Grocer on the front.
Hal-El?
No, he's from it's Superman. Kal-El. But it says it on the window. I know you know how to distract me. You talk about Superman.
Well, I didn't mean to.
Now I'm thinking about that. You're thinking about X-Files. I'm thinking about Superman.
So they're there to pick something up. They're a moving company.
Right. And you see it says S.A. Larsen Movers, Moving and Storage. They're there to pick something up from this grocer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything was really happening in this scene that mattered other than we met Stan, and we saw that he seems like a nice guy. A guy that, at this point, we're suspecting is a killer. We're suspecting he's the killer.
Well, actually, we weren't suspecting he was the killer, because who would leave their debit card?
Well, they said when they were in the field, a guy comes out here, does his business, kills a girl, and drops his credit card out here. They even said that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't suspect him.
I was thinking that it could be him. And you even said, wait a minute.
No, that's later.
Okay, later. We'll save it
it's
for
right
later.
now. Actually,
Spoiler.
It's coming up.
Spoiler, you suspected him.
No, I didn't necessarily suspect him at the well, give me a minute. Okay. So they're at the grocery store. So he gets a call from Mitch.
From Mitch, yes.
His significant other.
And she
life partner.
She sounds upset, and she tells him he needs to get home right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're thinking at this point, but I'm thinking
the police were there.
Yeah, that's totally what I'm thinking. And then we see that that's not what's going on. He's fixing the dishwasher.
Yeah, she's mopping the floor because water has exploded all over everything.
And he's poorly fixing the dishwasher and she indicates that he's not good at it. He's using duct tape. He's going to call his buddy, and water sprays out when he turns the thing on. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of bear hugs her and tackles her to the ground.
Well, okay, this is what I thought was interesting, because she laughs at him, and then he grabs her and tackles her to the floor. And it's supposed to feel lighthearted and fun, but there's sort of this element that just kind of feels wrong. And I don't know if they did that on purpose to make you suspect or to make you just be unsettled.
I think that you were unsettled already because there's something off.
Well, I just felt like it could turn violent on a dime. Something's off with that guy.
You said that even during it. I didn't think that. I kept thinking, boy, they're really making this guy seem like a likable guy, and they're setting us up that he's a killer.
Yeah, I didn't really think in this scene that he was. I just felt like there was something raw under the surface.
She was upset with him because he was screwing around with this dishwasher again.
I think that it wasn't coming from her. It was coming from him.
Okay.
My feelings.
Okay.
So way to, try to say that.
No. I'm with you. And then you do see the camera pulls back and you see on the table there are pictures of his family. He's got 3 kids. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time we're seeing Rosie, who we find out is Rosie. Mm-hmm. But she's in a couple of pictures very clearly.
I didn't think anything of the pictures of the kid. I didn't realize that it was going to be their kid.
Right.
So at this point, I'm thinking he could have murdered a woman.
Right. Well,
because
when they
he
show
did
the kids,
have that
you're thinking,
edge to him.
You're thinking, oh God, this guy is involved in all this, and he's got these kids.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was the kids that were involved.
Kind of like the I can't remember the name of it, on Dexter. Remember when John Lithgow was on?
Yes.
And he had the family. That's kind of what I was
scary.
Scorpio or something?
Now you're thinking of General Hospital. Robert Scorpio?
No, I'm not thinking of Robert Scorpio ever. I'm more of a Luke and Laura guy. I'm actually not at all. I don't even know who they are, really.
Yes, you do.
I would recognize them because of his hair.
You're married to someone who had a Luke Gehry perm at one point in her life.
When I was dating, yeah. That would have been the deal breaker.
Oh, you say that.
Oh.
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, sure it was Jerry Curl.
I didn't like it at all. Jerry Curl?
Yeah.
No.
No,
I went and got a perm. I don't even know what that is, but I got a perm.
Was it like Gene Wilder hair?
No, it looked like Anthony Geary.
That's amazing.
On accident. It wasn't supposed to.
That is amazing.
It was fantastic.
I would love to see that.
No, you wouldn't.
I've never seen a picture of you with poodly hair.
I don't know that there are any.
Oh,
that was a dark time.
I hope there are. I really do.
Okay, so
if there are, we're going to post it on the webpage.
Okay, fair
enough. Anthony Geary hair. Fair enough. Deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I shook on it because I don't think there are any.
Either that or you've got tremors.
It would have been big. It would have been that hair with big earrings
and big red glasses. Square... Did you have those yet?
No, it was before the big glasses.
Before the big glasses, you went with the super curly hair and the big earrings.
The big glasses. Then were later
the hair
in high
was
school.
Straightened, and you went into the big glasses.
My hair wasn't straightened; it just grew out. The perm eventually grew out.
We are painting quite the picture of teenage Martha. Yeah,
it was a very dark time.
It was a very dark time.
So, so they're married with several kids,
right? And we see go the picture outside of the kids.
to. She goes to say goodbye to him because he has to leave to go to work, and she tells him that their oldest wants to go to college out of state.
Right, he's not happy about this.
No, but you know what? It's typical.
And once again, you're
thinking stuff. You're not thinking he's a bad guy. You're thinking, oh, it's just typical dad stuff. He does. Of course, he doesn't want her to go out of state.
See, because you didn't know that Rosie Larsen was the one killed.
No.
I did. I knew that name because the name of the season was Who Killed Rosie Larsen. It said that over everything.
Well, I didn't pay attention. I'm not so good with details.
And knowing that, I knew that it was going to be his kid, but I was suspicious of him, even though I kept thinking they're making me not suspicious of him, which is making me think it's misdirection and that we are supposed to be suspicious of him. And this scene, when he was upset by that, I thought, he is genuinely upset. He loves his kids. This is not adding up. He was crossed off my suspect list at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't ever thinking about him hurting his daughter. I was saying he's capable of murdering, like the look on his face and the way that he was interacting with his wife. I thought I could totally see him having murdered some strange woman, not his kid.
Sure.
Not his kid. So,
yeah, now that you know it's his kid, he's not
no
a
way. He was never on my list.
So this was kind of a cool little thing. They showed a bunch of posters on something of this councilman running for office.
Darren Richmond. And then it fades into... Thank God it's not Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond. You have a Mitch on there.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I cannot say Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond.
Yeah.
Mitch Richmond. I cannot say it.
Nope.
So luckily it's Darren Richmond, because that I can say.
For some reason.
But for some reason my brain will not process
Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond. That.
Yeah. And the reason we know that is because he was a trainer on the Bulls back when we used to watch basketball a little bit.
Yeah.
And
he was a doctor or something.
He was like a trainer for the team.
Yeah. And somebody got hurt.
Yeah. They'd call in Mitch Richmond and you'd go, Mitch Richmond. I even almost said it better than you do, and I was trying to imitate you. I think I have to sit closer to the microwave before I can actually say it the way you do it.
I don't know what's wrong there.
I'm going to stick a pencil really far into my ear, and at some point I'll be able to say, just like you.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I didn't do it in a weird... I did it like it was slowed down.
Way.
No.
You offended lots of people. Not me. Because
people with pencils in their ears?
I'm not offended by your comments. I can't help that I can't say certain words.
Apparently.
But I'm just... That was just kind of funny.
Oh, we're painting quite the picture of you.
There's a Mitch, and I can say it separately. There's a Mitch, and there's a Richmond.
But together?
But I can't say it together.
Two tough words that get tougher together.
They go great together.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, there's this political sign. And
it fades into him actually standing there. So we know this is Darren Richmond.
Yes.
And he's outside of...
It's like an outdoor...
It's like an outdoor mausoleum.
Mausoleum or like a little memorial or something.
Yeah, but to me, it looked like a mausoleum to me. It looked like those were burial things up on the wall there.
And he gets a call from Jamie, someone named Jamie, and he says, I'm just on my way, and he leaves.
Right. Now, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. He arrives, and his two assistants walk up. It's Jamie and Gwen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But we don't know that yet.
Well, but it's Jamie and Gwen.
We'll go with it.
And they're, getting him, ready for his day. He's running for office. So they're kind of debriefing him on stuff and figuring it out. And Jamie asks him why he's late. Mm-hmm. And he tells his assistants that he's late because he slept in.
Right.
And they go, that never happens. And it's like, yeah, big lie.
Yeah, he's a big liar.
We know he's a liar.
But he's a politician.
Right.
Is it?
But
it kind of goes hand in hand.
He lies. They show it right out there.
Especially here in Chicago.
That is true.
Most of them are in prison.
So Jamie, the male assistant, walks away. He also says that he lost his watch. That's why he didn't realize what time it was.
His wristwatch.
Another word I can't say. Yes.
His watch.
They're stacking up.
We'll just say his watch.
His wristwatch.
Mm-hmm.
His wristwatch.
I'm not biting. I already said it once.
It's Mitch Richmond's.
And his wristwatch. Wristwatch.
Yep.
Wristwatch. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
They said it's 26 days to the election.
Right. Well, what I was going to say is that Jamie walks away, and then Gwen says, "Oh, I found your watch on my table.
Yeah.
I wonder how that got there."
Yeah, they're having some action.
Yeah. And what we don't know is, at this point, we don't know who the suspects are. And I have a feeling, since they're showing him, he's a suspect. And actually, we find something out, spoiler for the end, that he's a suspect.
Where are we?
But
don't spoil.
But this might be a clue that he's innocent if he left his watch on her table and he was with her the night before. Mm-hmm. Well, no, that it doesn't, because we don't know when this happened.
We don't know when his watch was left. We
also don't know when this happened.
Right. So, they're having a meeting then to discuss his. I'm trying very hard not to say his election. I don't want to mess that word up.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay.
You mess enough up on here.
Well, and
his team is feeling really confident about everything. And
they would like to discuss his election.
They say that he's getting an endorsement from...
Well, he says it. He said that he had a chat with Councilwoman... I wrote her name down so that phonetically...
It's like ukulele.
Utanus.
Right.
Councilwoman Utanus. She's going to endorse his campaign. And
right.
And that's a big deal, because apparently this woman is tough and a pain in the butt and whatever.
Well, if you grew up with the name Utanus, think of all the funny rhymes you could make with that one. So, yeah, she's going to be tough.
I've been doing it all night.
Yep.
Thinking about it all night.
You're a pain in my Utanus. Yep.
Let's just talk about his election a little more.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Holden and Holt, I will not be able to do this. Holder? Why do we have a Linden and a Holder? It's too hard to say when you're podcasting.
We found out everything is a little too hard for you to say.
Holden and Linden.
It's a good thing that we've gone into podcasting, because you can barely speak the language.
I might be able to do it if I go the other direction. Linden and Holder.
There, you did it.
Okay, so it's just the other direction I have a little trouble with.
Okay.
They show up at the Larsens' house.
Right. And they confront Mitch.
Yeah.
And they're asking questions about Stan. And
well, I have 2 points I need to make about this scene. Okay. They're, first of all, clearly they're just questioning. Was he home with you last night? Blah, 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 right? The typical stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. She says, of course he was. And can I just say that I wish Linden wouldn't chew gum? Because it's really unattractive when she chews gum.
So you think. Take that.
Seriously.
Okay.
She chews it in a strange way.
Okay.
There must be a reason, though. I'm assuming gum is going to be part of the storyline.
Have we seen her chewing gum a lot?
It's been in like three or so scenes, and it's the weirdest.
So she must be chewing it in a way that it's noticeable.
She's doing it on purpose, and it's driving me a little bit crazy.
Okay.
And I just want to tell...
It's affecting you, not affecting me. I haven't really noticed.
Tell the actress for future episodes to please stop. Well, even though it's canceled, but if they bring it back,
don't do it in any movies. Yeah,
because it kind of annoys me. Okay, so I had that little note I needed to get off my chest.
So they ask Mitch about Stan, and And she says, look, he was home last night. I know he was here. Mm-hmm. She kind of implies that they were together.
They were doing the wild thing.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So they had gone on a camping trip, she says, and they've been out of town, and they came back, and this is what's up. And that's pretty her. He says that, or she says. Now you got me doing it. Mm-hmm. She says that Stan. She's like, no worries about him being out. When he's not working, he's home with me and the kids, and he was here last night. No question.
Right, but you could also look at that and go, well, yeah, they all say that, and
right.
It doesn't necessarily.
And at this point, we still
true.
don't. I mean, I was still suspicious of him at this point, not really knowing. So all that stuff could be mounting up. It could be lies. It could be whatever. Just like John Lithgow on Dexter, they would have covered for him.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's something else that I wanted to mention. He does it again Holder does it to Mitch this time. He gets in her personal space, and he stood over her.
Well, yeah, like I said, I think that's his technique. It's a way of getting people out of their element. It's a technique he uses as a detective.
To do his bidding.
Yes.
It didn't work on her.
No.
So, okay, so then here's an interesting, this is where the cross tattoo comes back in to play.
Okay.
In this scene, because Linda, can I just call them both Linder and Holder?
Okay.
No, Linden says to him, well, I like to ask myself, what would Jesus do?
Yeah, she was baiting him.
She was trying to figure out where he is spiritually.
He's got this cross tattoo on his neck. What's up with that?
And she was feeling him out.
Now, what did he say? I didn't catch what he said.
Oh,
I heard it, but
I didn't write that part down. I was too overwhelmed. He didn't say anything. He just said, "I'll let you know."
The podcast is over.
He said, "I'll let you know."
Ah.
What would Jesus do? And he said, "I'll get back to you," or something like that.
Is that foreshadowing that he's going to die and be with Jesus?
No.
Okay.
So, but I did think that this was a throwback to that seeing her seeing that cross tattoo.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right.
So I did catch that, and then
she was also investigating him a little bit there. That's what she does. Mm-hmm. So she was trying to get this guy's story.
Yes, and
so as she's walking by, what were you going to say?
The worst line of the whole show. The saddest
what is
line.
it?
Mrs. Larsen, do you have a daughter?
Oh,
it breaks my heart.
Terrible.
I don't want it to be the daughter.
She says it because she sees in the garage or the house, whatever that is right there that she's seeing into, a pink bike. And
which I want, by the way.
Linden knows immediately something's up there, and she says, do you have a daughter? Mm-hmm. She's really good. She's really smart. She is.
She's a fantastic character.
All together very
without the
quickly.
gum chewing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So she asks him that. That's just a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Mitch says that she has a daughter that stayed at her friend's house over the weekend, and that she says, hey, we haven't talked to her since Friday, but we were in an area where there were no phones or anything. I mean, And then this is where Mitch gets her first indication, or indicates that she's wondering, because she stops and says, why? Mm-hmm. She's concerned. Mm-hmm. If the detectives are asking about this, suddenly it's gone from, hey, you guys are crazy, Stan didn't do anything, to, what? Why are you asking questions about my daughter? Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen her since Friday. Mm-hmm. And she still stays somewhat even about it for a while here, but this is the first indicator that she knows, this never even crossed her mind that there was an issue.
Yeah. So now we're in the school, and there's a girl walking through school looking a bit frantic or worried. We find out that's Sterling. Her name is Sterling.
And that's Rose's friend, and she's texting, where are you?
Yeah, she asks someone in the hall if she's seen Rosie. And then the principal and a teacher come to class to ask her questions. They pull her out of class. And her nose, total X-Files.
Yeah,
her nose started bleeding. I was like, oh my gosh, your nose, Scully. So her, I'm fine, Mulder. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, so her nose, her nose started bleeding as they're questioning her.
Okay.
And, and they're asking her, did she stay at your house? Whatever. And she doesn't look at them when she's answering because she's lying.
Yeah. And the teacher's standing there. It's a principal questioning her. The teacher's standing there. He's not buying.
Nope. He's having none of that.
Yeah. So as soon as the principal walks away, he's like, hey, that was pretty good. You tried really hard. She's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you're lying.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me the truth.
And tell me about the black oil. And once again, we're slipping into the wrong show.
And cigarette smoking, man.
See, I can't help it because the nosebleed and the holder.
Oh yeah, we're having a lot.
So we need to get away from X-Files right now because it's all we can think about.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta go the other way. Linden and Holder.
Yes.
Are questioning the mom.
Right.
Again, this is a different time, right?
Right.
They're asking her about her clothes, and the mom said,
jewelry.
Yeah, she wore tight jeans and a sweater.
Right.
And no history of running away, nothing,
Right.
and you think, well, on every show they always say that, and then they find out they've run away like 50 times.
Right.
So
then she also, we find out now that Rose is 17.
Right. But Linden goes into her room, into Rosie's bedroom, and it's a typical teenage girl's room. It's cute. It's got, she's got pictures. Yeah, but all the pictures are of herself. It was a little weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird. And it was a butterfly like her
really likes
thing.
Herself.
She likes butterflies.
Yeah.
I actually thought that it was kind of a youngish room.
Like for a
17-year-old, I thought that just seemed a little young, but I don't know.
No, I would have had that room.
Okay. I don't know. I wasn't a teenage girl, at least as far as you know. And I
probably would have said what 17-year-old boy would have Star Wars posters on his
what 45-year-old would if he wasn't married.
Right.
This guy, 2 thumbs right here.
2 thumbs?
Yeah.
Is that your nickname?
No, who has 2 thumbs?
Well, you didn't say that, so then it sounded really weird. Because you're like, here, 2 thumbs.
Who has
right
2
here.
thumbs and would have Star Wars posters up? Who has a Boba Fett standee in the garage right now as we speak?
Well, guess what I wouldn't have?
2 thumbs right here.
I wouldn't have a big collage of pictures of myself.
No. With
not at 17.
Yours would be, it wouldn't be a butterfly anyway. It would be shaped like a flower with your Anthony Geary head right in the middle.
My mullet. It was kind of mulletish.
Wow, it was like a Geary mullet?
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
It was not. I was not happy.
That is awesome.
It was not intended.
Business in front, party in the back. All poodle all day long. Yeah.
Oh, those were dark times.
Yeah. And a few short years later, we meet, and the rest is history. Or I should say, her story, because it's your story, lady. My lady.
Okay, so the school called while Linden was in the girls' bedroom.
I wonder what percentage of the time you ignore me.
I didn't hear a word you just said at all.
You are so lucky.
No one has seen her since Friday at the dance. So the truth now comes out.
Yeah.
That she did not stay at Sterling's house, and no one knows where she is.
Yeah. That's not good.
That's frightening.
Yes.
So we're back with Darren and his campaign advisor, Gwen.
Right. Now they're at the school.
Yeah. And
they're going to have a debate. There were signs up that they were having a debate there with the mayor.
Well, I don't believe they're at school at this point.
They are. They're walking down the hallway of the school.
Oh. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So he wants her to move in with him.
Right.
And she's cagey about it. And she says, wait until after the election.
Right. You're going to lose the single women vote.
Can we call it something other than an election? Because I'm really afraid I'm going to do a Freudian slip here. Either that
we'll just move on from it. But she says, she's not moving in with him, not until after the election. She says, you're going to lose the single woman vote, and this just isn't good timing.
So what do you think she says, I know where you were this morning.
Right.
Why won't you talk to me about her? Who?
Right.
Who died? Is it the wife? Is it a child?
Wait a minute.
What?
We don't even know if that's what she's referring to. Why won't you tell me about her? Who's her?
The teenage Rosie?
Was it something with that? Was it, does she think that he has someone out there? And she's like, look, I know you've got someone else. Why won't you talk to me about it so that I know where we stand? You know, you don't know what this scene really meant.
But he was at a cemetery.
But that doesn't mean that that's what she was referring to.
But who's he seeing at the cemetery? I just want to know.
We don't know.
Okay, so the police arrive.
Right.
The school is a possible abduction site. So, so their campaign event that was supposed to happen there is not going to happen there because he says, you know, if there's a child, a possible kidnapping, that has to take precedence over my election. Right, and now.
Mayor Jerk
wants
to have the debate. He doesn't care.
He is a bad man.
Yeah.
He's a very bad man.
He doesn't care at all. But Darren does say, hey, this investigation has to wait. He asks Detective Linden, you know, like, does this need to be postponed? Is it time sensitive? And she says, most missing kids are usually killed in the first 72 hours.
Dear God.
Which is frightening.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really scary.
I like that Darren, there's no question here, which is interesting because if he's a suspect, if indeed he is, he has genuine concern for a missing child. That would seem a little odd. I could see if he was trying to hide something, so he like, oh, hey, no, you should do this. But this was a little too pure. So to me, he's not high up on the suspect list here, but I think they're going to try to manipulate us into thinking he is. Mm-hmm. Just what I'm thinking.
I agree. So the mayor told Darren not to count on Councilman Utane's vote. Utanus?
Yeah.
Or Utanes.
Yeah,
Utanes vote. She plays game. She's a game player.
Yeah,
she's gonna,
much like the mayor.
Oh, he's just a...
Yeah, Mayor Jerkenstein.
So
then we see the principal calling off the assembly, tells everyone to go back to class, check in with their teachers, which, the next thing we know...
Sterling is AWOL.
Sterling has not checked in with her teacher. And Holder and Linden show up there talking to the teacher.
They want her address. And the teacher, it turns out he was also a chaperone at the dance that night.
Right, and he says, hey, I saw Rosie there in a witch costume.
Okay, now that is interesting because in the beginning, Mitch, the mother, says she went out that night. She was wearing a sweater and whatever. She refuses to wear she refused to wear a costume.
Oh, did she say that? I knew that she had said that she went out in the...
She said she refused to wear... Well, what was she doing dressed as a witch?
So there's another...
Why is there a discrepancy there?
Yeah, okay.
She said specifically she refused to wear a costume.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't catch that, but I did catch that she left wearing the pink sweater. So interesting, very interesting. Holder does his thing again. He kind of hunches over the teacher and tries to intimidate him.
And admit that he's a perv.
Yeah, he's like, pedophile. Oh yeah, 17. Yeah, bet you
that
like
guy
that.
Was not having any of that.
The teacher, I'm glad the teacher didn't break on that,
right.
or like any type of.
No tell.
That would have been a little too much to have a character doing that, because we already have some suspects stacking up. I did like how that whole scene played out. I think that it showed once again Holder using his technique, and this guy wasn't cracking. This guy is innocent. He's saying, "Hey, here's what's up. This is what I saw." Although something interesting happened here. I don't know if you caught it.
I probably did.
The teacher says he asked the teacher, was she basically sleeping with anyone? Mm-hmm. And the teacher says that he doesn't think she had a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Had is past tense. Mm-hmm. I don't think she has a boyfriend. I don't think she had a boyfriend. He clearly said had. Why is he referring to her in the past tense? Nothing has been revealed at this point. Mm-hmm. And they didn't say anything. I thought for sure Linden would say something about that, but she didn't. And I wonder if that was just how he was speaking or if there was something there. That just stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Like, why did you say had?
Mm-hmm.
And then we went back and rewatched that scene, and I paid attention. Like, I swear he said had. Yep, there it was.
Mm-hmm. So it could be that either he's assuming the worst,
right,
and that she's gone, and so he's thinking of her in past
or
tense.
That he knows something. He was the chaperone
there. That something happened, or it could be that that she has a boyfriend, like that he knows of someone who she's with, but I didn't know she had a boy. Had a boyfriend before.
So we might be reading something into that, but we might not. There might be something there. So Linden gets a call to go to her son's school at this point, and she ditches Holder. He's like, "You're my ride." She's like, "Yeah, go."
Yeah, which is the opposite of X-Files.
Yes,
because she's ditching him.
Mulder always ditched Scully. But she's saying, "You go, sweep the area, call the K9 unit
get a car on Sterling." Right. And get the K9 unit, and I'll meet you at the field. I'll meet you at the park.
And he says, "You're my ride." She's like, "Yeah, good luck with that."
Yeah, she doesn't tell him where she's going, and she completely leaves him there holding the bag. I mean, he's now got to get himself out of there, plus get everything done. Right.
So now we see Sterling, and she's riding her bike, and she goes into this alley, and there's some teenage skaters down in there. She talks to
they look like trouble.
Yeah,
they don't
she calls
look
this
like
guy Chris
typical
over.
skaters.
Right. She calls this guy Chris over, asks about Jasper.
Yeah, that's the first time we hear about Jasper.
She's like, is Rose is missing. The police are going to be asking questions. Where is Jasper?
Can't find
Was
him
she
anywhere.
with him? And he says Jasper had gotten some X, and he for sure was going to be like looking for love.
Not love,
looking for action.
Yeah. So he says that his parents are out of town and he's on the island.
Right.
So
now we're starting to think, well, maybe Rose is alive.
Yeah. Chris is not much help, though, and he is a bad guy.
Yeah, he's not a good guy.
Really not a nice guy.
So then this next scene, we see Jasper playing a first-person shooter on his computer, or on some game console. And his phone is vibrating. Obviously, Chris is calling him, is what I'm assuming. Or maybe Sterling.
Sterling, could be.
And he doesn't hear it. Then we hear this girl kind of like moaning and grunting in bed.
It
sounds like she drops a bottle or a glass or something.
Yeah, you know what? It sounds like it's hard to move. Like it's hard for her to move. Or she's in pain or something. It doesn't sound like a typical...
Well, she sounds like that because he gave her X.
Yeah.
She was drugged.
Yeah, so she wasn't moaning in pleasure. She wasn't moaning.
No. This is...
She was more like everything was a struggle. Like, trying to get to reach whatever she was.
Trying to pull herself together.
Yeah.
And she's got the dark curly hair. All we see is the back of her. It could be Rose.
Yeah, I thought for a second. I didn't think of it for very long. It was just a short... I thought, it could be.
Could have been.
And then he'll kill her before they get there or something.
So Linden is with Jack. He got caught smoking in school.
Oh, wait. I wasn't done with this scene. So when she's up there moaning, he glances up to where she is and just looks disgusted.
Yeah.
Which is, this guy, seriously, these are not nice people that Rosie was hooked up with.
No, this guy's a scumbag.
Clearly a lot of partying has been going on based on the stuff lying around, too.
Yep.
There is a lot of paraphernalia.
Yep.
And all kinds of
so he's trouble.
Yeah.
He's trouble. And Stan will not be a happy man knowing that she's involved with this.
That she was
Jasper
anywhere near that loser. So.
Okay, so now we see that Linden has her son and Jack. And he says that he got caught smoking in school, and he's like...
Well, she says it. She says...
He's like, well...
Smoking in school, Jack? Seriously? You know?
He's like, yeah, at least I didn't get caught smoking crack.
Which
once again...
brings me back to... He's the crack addict's kid from the beginning, the drawing.
Right.
I am telling you, that is
well
feeding me, and I'm really believing that this is that kid.
I think you might be right. I think that was a really good indicator of that. Then they start talking about the move, and she's like, oh, Greg planned this and that, and things
His name is Rick.
Whoops. I told you. All my notes say Greg.
Did you give kids your address and all that? And he's going, I'm not giving them my address. Like, there's Facebook. They're not going to write me.
And then Jack says that Rick is not his dad.
Yeah.
And while they're kind of having this, Linden gets a call that they're using the canine unit in the field.
And they need her.
They need her back there.
Yeah. So she just leaves.
Right.
And he's not a happy boy. And she just, she just has to get back to work.
Right.
So, so he goes and hugs Reggie and goes on her boat.
Right.
And Stan's not answering his phone.
Correct. Which, once again, is suspicious just because of everything going on.
The younger brothers come in wanting Rosie.
Right. We get to meet Rosie's siblings right now.
And
there's like a babysitter.
Aunt? Maybe I thought maybe she was Mitch's sister.
Nanny.
But it's the woman. She was one of our favorite characters on The Shield.
Right. She was awesome on The Shield.
She looks a lot better in this role.
Oh man, big difference. I didn't even recognize her.
Yeah.
But she's concerned about this. She's asking, have you heard anything about Rosie? What's going on? The little guys are like, we want to go on a bike ride. Rosie was going to do this. And,
Rosie promised us this and that and the other.
They're really rubbing salt in this whole wound. So the whatever she is, says, you know what? I'll take you guys for the bike ride. Let's go. She gets them out of there. She's trying to take the pressure off the situation.
Yeah, Stan finally calls.
Yeah.
And Mitch is actually able to tell him what's going on for the first time. The fact that Rosie was not at Sterling's and all that stuff. So now he is on the, he's in the know now.
Right. And my suspicions of him at this point are really diminishing.
Because I still could see him being a suspect in something else, but not in his daughters.
Right.
I don't see that at all. So all they do now is show the field
and the police
and the canine unit and the police. They're sweeping the field. So that's just a short thing. And now Stan is home. And Jasper's name is brought up.
Yeah, and he wants to know, is she still with Jasper? Yeah. And the mom's like, no, they broke up last summer. And then she starts talking about what the cops are saying and everything. And she brings up, they're asking about the clothes. And they ask about the butterfly necklace.
Stan is leaving. And she's saying, I'm really upset. They're talking to me about, because he's leaving her and now she has she's going to have to deal with them alone and these feelings alone and all these thoughts. And she's saying, they're looking for ways to identify her body.
Yeah.
I mean, that is,
oh
my gosh, as a parent, I can't even imagine.
Awful. So yeah, things are heating up at this point. I mean, like, the way the show is progressing, it's kind of inevitable that a body is going to be found or something is going to come out, and it's really heating up, and the tensions are rising for the Larsens. So getting a little uncomfortable, to tell you the truth.
Right. So Linden and Holder are following her path through the woods.
Yeah, this was cool because he was able to piece it all together and say...
the canine unit picked up a scent.
This happened here, she ran here, ended up here, and then poof.
Yeah, and he says the dad's alibi checked out, and Linden says, I still want you to talk to the dad anyway. You've got to talk to the dad anyway.
Right.
And so...
It says there's no burial site that they found around there.
Then they found
a possible one. Then they get a call that there's a possible one in the woods.
Northeast corner of the woods.
Yeah. Right. At this point, Holder brings up what everybody's thinking. Don't you have a plane to catch? Because she's been kind of doing this. She's crossed over, I think. She's not thinking about her plane flight. She's thinking, we're in the middle of something here. Something is breaking
and
here.
We have to solve this because there's a child involved.
Right. So now we see, I already
We're
forgot
back
his
with
name.
Darren.
Darren. And his advisor, Jamie, is suggesting they use this to their advantage. This whole, missing kid. And...
Well, wait, because the mayor, who's his opponent, held an event while Darren was sidelined from the school.
Right.
So that guy knew, they can't hold their event. Let's go hold one really fast.
Right, because he's a scumbag.
And we'll take advantage. And so Jamie's saying, you know what? We could really turn this into a marketing, PR thing. And Darren said, really doesn't want to exploit the family for his gain. There's clearly a leak in the office. Gwen and Jamie look at each other. Which one is it? Because it's clear. It's
going to be one of them.
I think it's Gwen, personally. But then I don't know. It could be Jamie.
Well, I think Jamie wanting to use this whole thing for a soundbite is an indicator that maybe he's not the greatest. Mm-hmm. Maybe he would be a leak. Like, he's going to use whatever he can to get ahead. He's showing that he'll do anything he can to get Darren ahead right now. But let's face it, the number one guy wants to get ahead as himself.
Right.
So if he has to play both sides a little bit to make that happen, I have a feeling he'd do it.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
So his phone rings, and it's someone named Meg. And we don't know who this is yet, but she clearly has worked with him before. There's history there.
Right. She knows the players. She knows Gwen and Jamie and
everything. And you said that there was a reporter.
Yeah, well, she says that a Times reporter is questioning his trips, and he's like, "Well, we're above the board. Everything is out front." She says, "Not all the trips." He goes, "Well, the only person that would know about them is you," and she's like, "Yeah, me, Jamie or Gwen." So she says there's a leak.
One of them is a leak, and Meg seems to be on up and up.
And Meg's like, I know I'm not the leak. That leaves two suspects. Mm-hmm. And he believes that too. Yeah. By the look he gives the two of them.
Based on whatever his past relationship with this Meg is. Right. Yeah.
So now we find Stan.
Stan finds Sterling.
Yeah, we find Stan, and Stan finds Sterling. Mm-hmm. And
we find Stan finding Sterling.
Oh, very good. And he's yelling at her like, "Hey, where's Rosie? What is going on here?" I mean, he's got to be going crazy at this point. And she just comes out with, "Rosie didn't tell me."
Well, she said she got really dressed up for the dance, and she only got really dressed up when she was going to meet Jasper.
Right.
So she's like, I put two and two together and figured she was meeting Jasper.
Right. Right. That would make sense to her.
And his parents are out of town, and she says, she's at Jasper's house.
Right.
And she said it as if it was fact.
Right. Yeah, she says it like she's clearly at Jasper's. And he calls he leaves, but he calls Mitch, and he says, "I'm going to pick her up. She's at Jasper's."
Yes, because that girl made it sound like
completely relieved, like, "Oh, thank God." I mean, imagine how scared you'd be. And then thinking, oh, you got her.
Okay.
Great.
But that was all very premature because...
Well, that's not the only premature thing that happens.
Are we back at the election?
No, because that
was a joke.
Right.
Get it?
The chief calls, or the lieutenant or whatever it is, calls Sarah to say that they found Rosie. And he calls it all off.
I mean, which is just insane.
So, and he never says that...
No one's actually seen her.
Right, and he never says that he talked to her or anything.
No. And he did say Holder never put a car on Sterling.
Right.
He never tailed her.
Oh, he did say that. I didn't hear him say
that.
Yeah,
the lieutenant said...
I thought he said he didn't authorize that.
No, he didn't authorize the canine unit, which he did do.
Oh.
And then she said, well, there's a car on her. Because he said, they found the Larsen girl. And he says, no, he didn't put a car on Sterling.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
So he never did that part. And then he said, it's over, though.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, then they show him in the woods, and that body that or whatever it is, they said they were found in the woods.
Well, wait,
they dig it up.
No, first it's...
What?
Isn't it first that he goes, Stan gets to Jasper's?
No, absolutely not. Because this is where they dig up, and they find that it's a baby doll. And Holder makes a joke about it, like, I guess that's all I was, or whatever, just a baby doll. And they call it off. Mm-hmm. So they're out of there. We see Jasper. He's still playing his video games. And Stan shows up. Mm-hmm. And he just keeps yelling at him, she's not here, she's not here. Mm-hmm. And Stan is justifiably irate. Mm-hmm. And he's storming up the stairs yelling, you're going with me, Rosie. This is it. And he goes up and he rips the sheets off. And it's not Rosie.
Mm-mm. And it's certainly not a teenage girl. No offense to the actress.
No. I didn't know how to say that. I put it's an older woman. I didn't mean like an older woman.
Elderly. It's his grandma.
Yeah. But she's not
She's no
Rosie.
spring chicken.
She is not Rosie. Mm-hmm. And she looks messed up.
No offense to the actress.
No. Whatever this Jasper guy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. I figured she was a
I think she was a
prostitute.
Lunch lady. Oh, I'm thinking lunch lady.
I think it was somebody he was paying for companionship.
You made those tater tots so hot for me.
Get up and make me another Hot Pocket, woman.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah, there you go.
So
the K-9 unit is packing it up.
Yeah, they're packing it up from the sweep. They're putting everything away.
Linda is lagging behind. There's something that is just nagging at her, and she's not willing to leave.
Yeah, she's
still
scanning the area.
Yeah.
And she sees these girls walking with fishing poles. Mm-hmm. And she starts looking down at her map, sees the girls again. She knows Rosie. Oh, she's asked. I'm sorry, I got that out of order. She asks where the road leads. Mm-hmm. And he says Puget Sound. Mm-hmm. And she's like,
what
that's...
What did you call it?
Puget Sound?
What?
Puget Sound.
Are you putting an N in there?
No, but it sounds like
Puget. Puget. Okay, now I can speak.
Puget Sound.
We are just... Between the two of us,
you know what?
we
When I say
it,
it does sound like an N in
Puget Sound.
Yeah, Puget Sound. I totally am saying it with an N.
You're saying it with an N.
Okay. Good to know.
Unkins.
I cannot move there. So she says, well, where does it go the other way? Because why are those girls walking with...
Why would they be walking with fishing poles that direction?
Right. And then he checks out and he's like, wait, there's a lake down there.
Yeah.
And you can tell...
That's it.
By Linda's face that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you call her Linder?
I'm getting tired.
Okay, Linden.
This has been enough. So
no, it's not enough. We're not done.
I'm tired. So she knows though that this is going to end very badly. She knows there's a lake down there. She knows they're going to find something. Mm-hmm. And the next thing we see is they're pulling a car. We see guys like in the water, and then they pull a car out, and it totally reminded me of Norman Bates. When he would kill his victims, and he would put that car in that swamp. And they even did it on Bates Motel. Remember? They did that where he buried the car in there. I wonder how many cars are in that swamp. Lots. Well, here's one less thing because they opened it up. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so we haven't... So Stan... It hasn't been revealed yet.
Stan tells his wife that she wasn't at Jasper, so he's calling her from his car.
Right, he's driving into the thing, and she's
freaking out.
And she's like, "Why are you going to the woods? She never would have gone there." He's like, "No."
He says he's going to the park.
Right, and they found her sweater there. I'm going there.
And he sees the car.
Right,
he sees this.
He sees the lights, and he sees them pulling out a car.
Oh, gut wrenching.
Oh man,
I cried.
He gets out. And he's trying to get up there, and they're blocking him. Of course, they're investigating. He sees him open the trunk.
He's screaming, Rosie, Rosie.
And the trunk is full of water.
Oh, and her
Rosie
body.
is in there.
And the wife is hearing all of this over the phone.
And she's yelling,
I can't even imagine if that was us and you were screaming. I would feel so helpless and terrified.
Oh my God, he's just holding the phone in his hand, screaming and crying, and she's yelling for him because she doesn't know what's going on, but she does know what's going on. It's awful.
Yeah.
And then it shows them like looking at it, and it shows that Rosie had been tied up. She was restrained and then put in that trunk. And in the background, you're just hearing him yell her name out.
And just crying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was painful.
So then Sarah walks down there and tells him he can't be there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just tell me, is that Rosie? And she's like, she wants to tell him. But they haven't confirmed it's Rosie, but she wants to tell him. But she can't. No. And she's like, you can't be here. Oh my God. It was so
very
awful
painful
to watch.
And just amazing acting.
Amazing all the way around.
Yeah.
Well, this whole show, I mean, really
phenomenal.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And this was really interesting because I've already said that he's low down on my suspect list, but when Sarah goes back to the car, Holder says to her, "We ran the plates, and it belongs to the Richmond family." And she goes...
The Richmond campaign.
Oh, the Richmond campaign. She goes, "Darren Richmond?" Making him a suspect in a big way right now.
It could be anyone working on his campaign.
It could be Jamie.
It could be Gwen.
It could be Gwen. It could totally be Gwen.
Because if he was cheating, So
maybe when she said, "Why won't you tell me about her?" she was talking about Meg. And she saw him with this girl, and she did this business to get rid of her.
Could be any number of things.
Or it's Jamie because this girl is going to take his campaign down, and Jamie can't have that.
I don't know.
Or it could be Darren.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be Josh or Justin or whatever his name is.
Who's that?
Josiah. What's his name?
What?
The boy.
Jack.
No, Jack.
You got me calling him Jake now.
It's not Jack. I know it's not Jack.
The boy?
Justin.
Oh, Jasper. Wow. I'm spent now. I thought you were talking about their kid Jack or her kid Jack.
No.
Okay. Jasper.
But so there's lots of suspects.
But how would Jasper have the campaign guy's car?
We don't know. We don't know what these connections are and how they've gone together. You know, we just don't know what all the connecting dots are. We're going to find this out. And we also don't know if we've seen the suspect. We very well may not have seen the actual suspect here in the first episode. We just think we have.
This was fantastic.
Fantastic. I can't wait to
I
want to
watch right now. You know, like
I want to go to bed right now.
Right, but I'm just saying, you know, it does make you
this
want
is awesome.
to...
This is one...
Okay, so wait, we're not finished, though. We have one more little scene. The mom is on the phone, hysterical. I mean, she's just sitting there. He's screaming.
I didn't even want to bring it up because it's so painful.
Hysterically crying, and they pan up. So you're just seeing it from the ceiling down, you know, like kind of up, and it's aiming down onto the set, you know. Yeah. And you've got the two boys standing in the living room, staring into the kitchen area where their mother is in a heap on the floor, hysterically crying. And, I mean, oh, my gosh, it's gut-wrenching.
Okay, and that's still not the last scene, because then it shows the body in the trunk, and you see Sarah's face as she's looking at it. I'm getting a little choked up.
Are you getting verklempt?
And no, I just need a drink, actually. My throat is closing up. You see her face, and you can tell that she's looking at something, and it focuses in, and you see the butterfly necklace.
Yes.
That is 100% confirmation it's Rosie. Mm-hmm. Because we knew it, but that is...
But now she's got...
That's where she knows it. Everybody knows it. It's done.
I want to point out something that we did not discuss.
What didn't we discuss?
And I think we're not discussing it because he's
who's the elephant
not
in the
going
room?
to be an important player.
Okay.
Rick called her.
Right.
A while ago, and we never even mentioned this phone call. And he's saying, I could pick up some pizza, you know, why don't we have pizza for dinner? He's trying to make her life normal and fit in his little square
And I'll tell
hole.
you what, I don't think Rick is long for this relationship.
I don't either. And I think that the fact that we did not even discuss it showed how unimportant and inconsequential he is right now.
What she has stumbled into is going to consume her.
Yes.
And it's going to keep her from going on with this life. And I think we're going to see that relationship come to an end. I just do.
And she already sold her condo. Unless he said, are you ready to sell your condo? She might not have sold it yet. But yeah, she's got to... She already has the permission from her son to not go on with the relationship.
Right.
And if she has... if she's getting consumed by this case,
right,
she's not going to go on with this relationship, and she's going to kick him to the curb.
Now, what's funny is we may be completely wrong. For those people that have watched it, they may be like,
they're laughing at us right now.
Third season they get married, and
they have
triplets. You're kind of right. They have a little trouble, but they're still together, and
I don't see it at all. I think he's going on to Sonoma by himself. But I can't believe that we didn't even discuss it. We really went frame by frame. Like we went.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't even see it in my notes, but I remember the scene. So that tells how inconsequential it was.
that he's not a part of the story.
Right.
And so I just thought that was really interesting. And I am happy to see the aggressive kisser go.
The aggressive kisser. Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
All right. Well, are you going to wrap this up? Because this is it for episode 1. Are you?
I'll let you do it.
You're going to let me wrap it up.
You do all the business.
Okay, I'll do the business. Well, I tell you what, we actually have all of our social media, well, most of it in place here. You can follow us on our Facebook page. Just search for The Killing Podcast. We're the only one. We're the one on there. Go to Twitter, and we went with a really original name for our Twitter feed. It is The Killing Pod. Very original. Our website, where you can hear episodes of this, episodes of our other shows. We do one about the show Under the Dome. We have 2 new shows, one about The Walking Dead called Biters, one about American Horror Story, which is called Disturbed. I drew a blank there. And we also have a show that Martha and I do with Jack called Input Junkie. And we have one about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. called Enough Said. Mm-hmm. So we have lots of things, and all those are on our website, and all the past episodes are on there too. So you can go through and listen to everything, or you can find it all on iTunes. And if you do iTunes or Stitcher, please go on there, give us reviews. We need reviews. Mm-hmm. It tells us how we're doing. It helps us out a lot. Reviews. Put stars on there and write a little something if you enjoyed the show. It really means a lot to us and helps us out. And if you want to send us an email, beyond those other things, you can send it to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. There, I think I got it all in. This has been The Killing Podcast, brought to you by the Input Junkie Network, which is part of the Southgate Media Group. And we will be going through the first season and then taking a little break. This was the first one. Already, I'm sorry that it's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
So by the time this little project is done, we will have done all 3 seasons. And our biggest hope is that by the time we've hit the 3 seasons, there's been an official announcement that a 4th season
that
has
somebody
been brought
has picked it up
to Netflix or Xbox or somebody. Mm-hmm. That would be really, really fantastic.
Yes.
So let's all hope that happens too. That is all for The Killing Podcast. I'm Rob Southgate.
And I'm Martha Southgate.
Until next time, who did kill Rosie Larsen?